Hey, before we get started here, I want to give a big shout out to the Bluey Mums group on Facebook. There are apparently a lot of fans of this show in that Bluey Mums group, and they like to talk about the shirts that I wear sometimes, like Unicorns here. Candy Thunder is actually a member of that group as well, and they've been very kind to her, and thank you. Thank you for being fans and for showing Candy Thunder love and for showing us love. So, we're glad you enjoy it. Thank you very much. Okay, this one is, will I be the asshole for suing my daughter-in-law? Sounds spicy. Edit, they aren't married, referring to her as daughter-in-law is just easier for the sake of storytelling. Understood. Our son and daughter-in-law, 26 years old, have been together for 2 years and live together. We've always thought she's a very nice girl and she seems to make my son happy, so no problem for us. Our son has his own law firm that he's currently trying to get started. We're very proud of him, and we're fortunate enough to help him with a startup loan. Daughter-in-law works a retail job that she's very happy with. Some time ago, husband and I were over at their apartment and we decided to order some food. Husband and I wanted to pay, and since daughter-in-law was ordering from her phone, we gave her our card so she could draw the money from our account. I think I see where this is going, and I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. We thought it goes without saying that this was to draw an amount from once for the lunch. However, daughter-in-law apparently put our card into her Apple Pay and has been using it since. Oh no. Oh no. It's not the done thing, mate. It's not the done thing. We didn't notice it for some months, but recently saw withdrawals that we didn't recognize. We had our accountant look into it, and she discovered that 1, daughter-in-law has been using our card on her phone, and that 2, she spent around $17,000. What? We were quite shocked and called her up and asked why the hell she's been using our card. She got very defensive, tries to deny it, and eventually said she was entitled to it. And why do we care since we haven't noticed her use it for over 4 months? We told her she needed to pay us back immediately, or we'd report her actions for theft. She apparently doesn't have the money to pay us back. Did you think she was gonna? We've gone to our son and he's offered to pay us back even though he actually cannot afford to. This isn't about the money for us, but more about the fact that she's stolen a huge amount of money. It's not about the money, it's about a lot of money. While we are comfortable and it took us some time to notice, we still recognize the seriousness of stealing $17,000 US. Our son has completely dismissed her behavior and excused it as her being stressed. What the man? Really? She's taken no responsibility, and we're honestly wanting to go forward with the police report to teach her consequences to her actions. Would we be the asshole for doing this? Oh, there are so many red flags throughout this story that, let's throw the red flags. Let's just keep them going for a bit and let's see what happens here. So let's start counting the things or start collecting the things that are red flags here. Okay, so at first while reading this, I'm like, oh, she probably didn't realize it, but she spent 17 grand. Like that's not accidental. She spent 17 grand in 4 months. $4,250 per month for 4 months. What is she spending 4 grand a month on? And how did their son, her boyfriend, not notice? I don't understand. I don't understand how he didn't notice. I mean, obviously he's got his head into trying to get his law firm started, and launching a small business is one of the hardest things that you could decide to do. Now, he did it with a big loan from his parents. He may have some kind of entitlement mentality as well. Even though he's launching his own firm, he's doing it with his parents' help, and maybe, just maybe, them funding that gave her the idea that they were funding them. I'm not saying that's right, but it's possible. But the fact that she denied it in the beginning and then said that she was entitled to it kind of erases all that possibility. It wasn't an accident where she just didn't know she was using their card. It was intentional. She thought she was entitled to it and said, why do you care since you haven't noticed it in over 4 months? Which is the same thing as saying, you're rich, why do you care? Which is all kinds of red flags, right? Biggest red flag of all for me here is that if she had no problem stealing $17K from his parents, she's going to have no problem stealing from his business. And she is going to drive that business into the ground. It's the writing on the wall, man. They knew she wasn't going to have the money to pay them back immediately. Yes, threatening that she needed to do that or they would press charges is the smart thing to do, and obviously she's not going to have that money. And their son offering to pay them back and dismissing her behavior is an even bigger red flag than her spending and her mentality overall. And that's the part of this that makes me think that he might have some kind of entitlement mentality as well. Maybe it wasn't all her. If he was willing to pay for it and dismisses it all and says that she's just stressed, he might have had something to do with it. I, in their shoes, would definitely press charges. And not that you're ever going to get that money back, but still press charges because a lesson needs to be learned here. And maybe that lesson is don't be with our son. And maybe there also needs to be some kind of lesson to the son here as well. I would highly encourage diving deeper into the son's understanding of what she was doing and how they got there and how did he not notice, and if she was spending $4K a month, what was she buying? What was she having done? Where did he think that money was coming from? This might go deeper than OP thinks. It might be a Bonnie and Clyde kind of thing without the love triangle. I'm just saying. No, you wouldn't be the asshole at all for pressing charges on that. You should press charges. She knowingly stole $17K from you. So press charges. She needs to learn that it's not okay to steal, and you probably need to do something to try to bust this relationship up. Otherwise, you're going to be bailing out your son's law firm that's going out of business here in a couple of years. I don't know. Maybe you guys see something different than I'm seeing right now, but let me know. No ASCON scale activity on my end. Not at all. Not for OP, at least. All kinds for their son's girlfriend and potentially the son as well.